Different interpretations of international maritime laws can lead to dangerous tensions, as we discussed. I also discussed that with Nong Hong. She's executive director and senior fellow at the Institute for China-America Studies. And I asked her first about relations between the U.S. and Russia.
The issue is not really about the legal issues. For instance, there are some concerns from coastal states such as Russia. They're very concerned about ISI activities, which means the intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance activities. That's the fundamental issue between the two countries. So I think for Russia, it will argue that, well, since the intention from the U.S. naval vessels, the intention is not clear, and then they're very worried about what is going to endanger the security of Russia as a coastal state. So I think it's very important for the two countries at least respect the agreement that they signed back in 1972. That agreement should not only apply in the high sea, but also apply in the jurisdictional waters or airspace within a coastal state's jurisdiction.
Let's turn to the South China Sea. You know, the United States is doing freedom of navigation exercises there, and it's been a big source of tension between the United States and China. China is saying that the United States is violating its territorial sovereignty. Do you think the tensions are getting better, getting worse, or do you think they're about the same?
I think it's a very complicated issue involving both international law interpretation and also strategic security issues. Because for China, I think freedom of navigation is not an issue. It's because China will always say, we respect international law, we respect freedom of navigation. But the fundamental difference between the United States and China is not about freedom of navigation, it's about the legitimacy of ISR in a foreign country's EEZ. Like intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance activities. That's the issue between the two countries. But I think like the two countries are doing better because I think the two countries signed these two MOU of maritime and air encounter activities. I think they are trying very hard to build out a confidence between the two countries to narrow the gap, perception gap between the two countries in terms of how to interpret particular provisions under international law.
And what can these two countries do to continue that progress and to make sure that this doesn't turn into an actual conflict?
I think most important is to build up the trust. The two countries, they have different strategies to grow in the South China Sea. I think for China, it's to respect U.S. legitimate interest in the South China Sea. And for the United States, it should respect the Chinese approach to solving the dispute with its neighboring countries. And then back into the norms, I think both countries have a good foundation. And further, they should also come up with very concrete policy or provisions.
Nong Hong, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you very much.